Well, so many of you came out to tell me how wrong I was and how embarrassed I should be about not knowing all of the things about every material component in the entire game. But I will own up to the fact that I really should have thought about how laughter and Tasha's hideous laughter, but I never really think about that because honestly, I almost never use that spell, so it's one of the farthest things from my mind more often than not. But remember we talked about that thing on the Dungeons and Dragons Discord? We talked about it here. Sorry, let me jump over here, and we listened to this sound clip here. So we listened to that, and I said clearly it's laughter, and the file name was called Feather and Tart, and if you look right here in the material components for Tasha's hideous laughter, it's tiny tarts and a feather that's waved in the air. So therefore, the material components used for Tasha's hideous laughter, the fact that the video had or the audio clip had nothing but pretty much laughter in it makes me think that yes, it's going to have something to deal with Tasha or one of her many other names. So I don't know how you pronounce this. Is it Iggwilv? I don't know how you pronounce it, but basically I knew of this character only in the ethereal. So I'm on the Forgotten Realms Wikipedia right now. She also has gone by Tasha, Natasha, a whole bunch of other things. I'm not a lore guy. I know lore of Dungeons and Dragons in general, but I know she was created by Gary Gygax, and I think she was one of the Circle of Seven. Originally, she was, I think, as Tasha. Let's see. She had many confusing relationships with Graz. They were both lovers and enemies, along with Mordenkainen and Elminster, was one of the most powerful archmages in the multiverse. The Witch Queen was an enemy of the Nine Hells, owing to her partial interest in Graz. She has a Quasit Familiar. She was very wealthy and had mansions throughout the material plane, Abyss, and Hades. She's guarded by a whole bunch of stuff. She wrote the Demonomicon. She wrote the Demonomicon of Iggwilv. I really don't know how you pronounce it. You guys are going to tell me I'm wrong, I'm sure. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff about this here and different demons, and contain treaties by, you know, Frazerblue, Jugublex, Pazuzu. I didn't know Pazuzu was in D&D. Zugetmoy. Yeah. So I also learned a little bit more about her just from Wikipedia. Let's see. She was created by Gary Gygax and named as one of the greatest villains in D&D history in the final issue of Dragon. The name Tasha and the association with laughter were created when a young girl sent Gary Gygax a letter in crayon asking her to create a spell involving laughter. It's unclear whether Gygax intentionally intended the two names to refer to the same character. And then here's all the different publications, and then in-universe character biography. She's the adopted daughter of Baba Yaga. There's some more stuff about Grazd. She's a fierce enemy of the Circle of Eight. Says she's Tasha. Company of Seven. I said Circle of Seven. I meant the Circle of Eight in the Company of Seven. My bad. Yeah. So I don't really know much about her. I know that she exists. I gave you that. I'm sure one of the D&D lore folks out there has done a video on her, and if they haven't, go do it now because people are going to want to know. So what does that mean? It might be like the Demonomicon, right? That might be what we get, the Demonomicon of Iggwilv, or however you pronounce her name. That might be the book we get in November. So it might be like Tasha's Guide to the Planes, Tasha's Manual of the Planes. You know, I don't think she has any specific tie to Barovia, as far as I know. And I know a lot of people are thinking we might have stuff dealing with Barovia because we had this mention of new stuff for Vistani, and we know Curse of Strahd Revamped is coming out. But I think it is going to be just her book. And, you know, we talked a lot. We thought it might be Laurel Silverhand. So, and I thought it might have been some other, you know, other characters that are popular. Maybe Van Richten. That would be a cool one, right? If you're going to do a Ravenloft thing, you do a Van Richten's Guide to Evil or whatever. So it'll probably be, maybe it's the Demonomicon, maybe it's like Tasha's Guide to the Plains, or, you know, I don't know what they're going to call it, but that's my guess now. The fact that it was laughter, the fact that we have the feathers and tart, that answers pretty much that this has something to do with Tasha in some way, shape, or form. So I wanted to make a video follow-up to the previous video and say it's Tasha. let's think about it. What do you think the book's going to be called that'll come out associated with this? Do you think it is going to actually be a whole new book and that's going to be the source book we get in November? Or is this something else completely different? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll see you all next time.